What did he big a big acorn level fly?
What did he say?
Big a big acorn level fly.
It was.
What did he big a big acorn level fly?
What?
So about a year and a half after the release of an animated film that turned the 2D animation market into an aborted fetus, comes Disney Animation Studios' first 3D animated film debut, Chicken Little. So in a way, this was kind of them dipping their toes into the 3D animation market and kind of getting their feet wet, until they realized the puddle they stepped into became a huge lava pit and started melting faster than the city of Pompeii. To put it shortly, Chicken Little is famously known to be the not-so-best way to start in the 3D market, and it would only be a few more years until they finally get a good rhythm going. So while I consider this film a complete lost cause, the review is more to show that, especially with the other Disney animated films that come later on, this is more to show that great successes come from humble beginnings. With that being said, let's get into it. So the movie starts off with a narration of the worst character in this whole freaking movie, and the worst character to exist in Disney history, but we'll talk about him later. For now, let's just talk about this really annoying narration that can't seem to figure out how to start the movie. At first it wants to start off with Once Upon a Time, but then it says no. Then it starts with the Lion King opening, and then it says no. And then it says the opening the book, and then they say no, and it's just like, just start the goddamn movie already, alright? I'd rather just get through this 80 minutes of torture. It then cuts to Chicken Little, our main character, ringing the town bell warning everyone to duck for cover, which of course causes everyone to panic. I've already dealt with enough movie references from the Space Jam review. I don't need to see anymore. So Chicken Little guides the townspeople to the oak tree to find out what was going on until they realize that he might be making this up, even though he's totally convinced that it's not made up.
Only it doesn't say stop, and it's blue, and it has a cloud on it. And it hit me on the head, and it looked like it stopped.
Oh yeah, that totally doesn't sound like a grown man trying to sound like a child, even though it's about as convincing as me, being a voice actor. So my biggest pet peeve with this film, and in many other animated films or TV animated shows, is the voice acting. Not that it's terrible necessarily, but it just really bothers me when they cast adult voice actors to play children. I mean, there are some that can actually pull off playing as children pretty well, and they can disguise themselves to make them sound like actual children. But when it's like this...
That's it. Today is a new day.
They put no effort. They give 0 Fs for this, and it's like... It's really, really distracting. And there are much other films that do the same thing, and it's really annoying when movies do this. Like, for here, I'm not really seeing a child trying to be like a child. I just hear that guy from Scrubs in an audio booth reading off his lines. I mean, honestly, you're better off just casting an actual child. I mean, I know child actors are pretty tough to work with because, you know, they're children, but the entire Peanuts cartoon series, they all had children. They were all voice acting incredibly well because they were just acting as if they were themselves. That's why it worked so well. So I'm not entirely sure what they're going for with this character, but like I said, I'm not seeing a character, I'm just seeing Zach Braff, and it takes me out of the film pretty quickly.
What did he big acorn level fly?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's just gibberish. Gibberish of an insane person.
You know, let's just pretend that Chicken Little is actually a child and just follow the logic of whatever terrible casting that this movie decided to go for, and let's just kind of defend him a little bit. The fact that you open up and say it's just gibberish from an insane person, just keep in mind it's a child. Children say crazy stuff all the time. Have you heard of a child say crazy stuff to you? Prick. So as you look through the film, you realize what tone that it's trying to go for. It's kind of going for that using colorful animation and contrasting it with a mean-spirited tone. Kind of like what you see in The Simpsons or Family Guy or even Shrek, which came out a few years before this film did. You're starting to see where the inspiration came from though, right? So in a way it's trying to be that sort of mean-spirited type of Disney sort of film. But here's the problem with that. It's Disney. The least mean-spirited company you can possibly imagine to go for something like this is really backwards, and you can see why it got rated so low. So a year passes for Chicken Little and his father to find out that there's a movie based on the incident we saw earlier.
Look, Dad, it doesn't even matter. You know why? Because I've got a plan.
Yeah, about that. Well, remember how I told you it would be better for you just to lay low, don't call attention to yourself? It's like a game. Yeah, a game of hide and seek, except the gold is never to be found. Ever.
The father's an asshole. How about instead of telling your son to lay low, even though it's a little too late for that because, you know, they're making a movie about it, why don't you tell your son to keep his head up high and not let what happened to him affect him? I mean, look at when he gets out of the car after his dad drops him off. Like, look how upset he is and how depressed he is. Like I said, I already established the fact that he's a grown-ass man in an audio booth, but still, let's just humor the film for a second. The main character is supposed to be so young. I mean, I don't really know how old he is or anything, but a kid so young is required full attention and support from the parent. But the way his father has treated him throughout the first 5 minutes will easily traumatize a child. If this were to continue when he's older, I mean, this kid will turn to emo within like maybe 10 years from now. We're already 5.5 minutes into this film, and I already hate what's going on.
Today is a new day.
For your sake, kid, I hope so. So Chicken Little tries to get on the bus, but gets trampled by the other kids, and the bus leaves him behind. This kind of begins the cliched sequence of the main character trying to get to school on time. This sequence is really depressing to watch. I mean, you see Chicken Little trying to catch the bus, which somehow disappears mid-title screen. Where did it go? So this is where he tries to find creative and resourceful ways to get there, but with every attempt of getting out of a bad situation, it always leads him to a position that's even worse than the previous situation that he was in. He loses his pants, he gets humiliated by it, and then he gets ridiculed for being late, which I guess happens multiple times based on the film. And that's just not in this sequence, that's throughout most of this film. It's honestly, like I said, it's hard to watch. It just makes me feel bad for him. But not in a way that makes me want to regain respect from the people around him, but for other reasons. We'll get into that later. Meanwhile, in class, we're introduced to other characters. Foxy Loxy, Loosey Goosey, wow, I'm getting annoyed just by reading them out loud. Abby, which is Ugly Duckling. Rented the litter fish out of water. And this segment is very interesting. Let's just move on. We then cut to them playing dodgeball.
Split into 2 teams, popular versus unpopular.
So we're about at level 1 in the mean-spiritedness of this film. But trust me, it gets worse.
Woo! Tough morning.
I had to run in with my old nemesis.
Scum in the crosswalk.
He won this round.
So that whole sequence we saw earlier is a common occurrence, and apparently she knew about everything that happened, as if it happens every morning. How has this kid not killed himself yet? Like, if that were me, I wouldn't even go to school anymore. It's like, can I be homeschooled? I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. So Chicken Little finally makes it to dodgeball class and meets up with his friends. He then goes on to explain about his plan, I guess.
All I need is a chance to do something great to make everyone forget the whole sky falling thing once and for all. And then my dad will finally have a reason to be proud of me.
I'm sorry, what? Can we hear that again?
And then my dad will finally have a reason to be proud of me.
Dude. Bro. Do you hear yourself right now? The fact that your dad needs a reason to be proud of you is insane. I mean, since he's not proud of you right now, I mean, he's not even going to entertain the idea of, you know, at the very least loving you as a possibility, let alone even listen to you. I don't think your plan is really worth the effort here. So Chicken Little's friend Abby suggests that he should talk to his dad about the problem, instead of what she thinks he's doing is avoiding it, even though he's dealt with it for pretty much an entire year, so he's done anything but avoid it, so, but whatever. We just had a scene where his dad told him to pretty much lay low and disappear, so I'm pretty sure talking to him won't work. His dad should be the one talking to his son, because, you know, that's what a parent would do, but that would be too hard and would require effort. And considering his lackluster piece of shit character, I'm pretty sure he's not even going to try. Am I seriously going to have to make another counter for all the annoying references they make in this film? I don't like this school very much. So Chicken Little accidentally pulls the fire alarm, causing everyone to panic. And despite being a victim of bullying, he's the one who gets in trouble. But why? Why? Why does he get in trouble?
Ever since that sky falling incident, he's been nothing but trouble.
Hey look, it's Wallace Shawn playing a dog for Disney. Again. Should probably review that at some point.
It wasn't my fault. It was Foxy.
That's
She's
all
always
right. It's fine. You don't have to explain anything.
But at the very least, you could talk to your son about the issue. Seriously, just talk to him. You neglectful prick. So during a depressing ride home, Chicken Little suggests to his dad that he should join the baseball team. To which the dad thinks it's a great idea.
Maybe baseball isn't exactly your thing.
JK, he doesn't. Father's an asshole. So they get home and the movie makes us sit through a sad montage while listening to a shitty pop song. Thankfully, I can't show you what the song is because of copyright. And honestly, I'd rather not you sit through and suffer the same way I did. Also, the montage is boring as hell and nothing really happens here, so let's move on. So then we cut to another montage where Chicken Little signs up for baseball, although it seems as though he gets no support from anyone around him, including his dad. Big shock. But it seems as though he finally might get his chance to redeem himself, much to everyone else's dismay. Which means, not only does he screw it up for the entire town and basically become a laughingstock, but they want to do everything in their power to prevent any form of redemption that could be brought onto him. Fuck this town. Despite all the odds, Chicken Little scores for the team, allowing them to win the game, which gives Chicken Little the respect from the townspeople, including his dad. Basically, now they respect him for doing the one thing that everyone thought he couldn't do. And he's only getting that respect because he actually did something right. Alright, again, fuck this town.
Yes, we won! That's my boy out there! That's my boy!
Also, the father's an asshole. So later that night, Chicken Little basks in his day of victory and success, and his father celebrates along with him.
Oh, jeez, I guess that puts the whole sky is falling incident behind us once and for all.
Is that really what you're worried about right now? Don't you think maybe you should tell your son, "Hey son, I want you to know that I'm really proud of you. You've managed to overcome the impossible. I know I haven't been the best father to you lately, but I promise, I will do better from now on. I will support you with everything that you do, because that's my job to do as a father. I love you, son." And then he'll say like, "I love you too." But no, he's just worried about being embarrassed by the town. The father's still an asshole. So Chicken Little looks into the night sky, thanking the shining star for his accomplishment, only for it to fall on top of his head, confusing it for the piece of the sky. Terrified and confused, Chicken Little calls over his friends in hopes of fixing the situation.
Let me guess. You haven't told your dad yet.
Well, no, he hasn't told his dad yet. Because what the hell is he gonna do?
You gotta be ready to listen to your children, even if they have nothing to say.
You know, you should take your own advice, jackass. So the plate that they find that they confuse for the piece of the sky leads them to the baseball field, discovering that they're actual aliens invading their planet.
Abby, wake up! Come on, let's get out of here!
Huh. That was kind of weird. I wonder if it ever comes back later in the movie. So the group goes into the ship to find fish, but instead find all sorts of weird stuff in here. One of them includes the alien kid. I don't know his name, I just call him Alien Kid. Fun fact though, he's actually played by an 8-year-old Jeremy Shada. Jeremy Shada is the voice actor for Finn the Human in Adventure Time. I don't really have a joke about that, I just wanted to say that. They eventually find fish, but also discover something they wish they hadn't.
Where next? That's it! We're running back to your house and you're gonna tell your dad!
Hey,
Of course! That makes perfect sense. Let's talk to arguably the worst father character in Disney history about a possible alien invasion. He'll totally understand and not ignore us completely. You know, this is what I imagine how it would go down. Hey, Dad. Hey, son, how you doing? Hi, I need to tell you something. What is it, son? So there might be aliens on our planet, and they may or may not destroy it. Do you think you can help us out? Chicken Little, your friends are the worst at giving you advice. I'm starting to think they're just as bad as the rest of the characters in this movie. So Chicken Little and the gang get chased down by the aliens, from outside the ship and into a cornfield. I can't believe I have to do this. I have to put a counter. I won't doubt there's another one coming up soon. I guarantee it's gonna come up pretty quickly. So Chicken Little uses the soda in the bottle trick that he did earlier in the movie and makes it up to the bell to ring it, which causes all the townspeople to wake up. All 15 of them. So Chicken Little attempts to lead the townspeople to where the aliens are before they escape.
It's happening again.
Jesus Christ, is it really so hard for you to show some form of compassion towards your son? Instead, you're still worried about your reputation in the town. Did I mention this father's an asshole? Yeah, the father's an asshole. So big surprise, they show up and see absolutely nothing. So of course no one believes him, and neither does his dad. You know, this should be the point in the movie where Chicken Little should just leave town. Like, I know he's supposed to be a kid, but any kid in real life who would be treated like this will most likely run away. He has no support from the townspeople. His friends give him terrible advice on how to deal with the issue, and his own father could two fucks about him. Just leave town, dude. These piece of shit people are not worth your time or energy. Just leave. And I know there's supposed to be an alien invasion later, and leaving town may or may not leave them all defenseless, but honestly, fuck them. But of course none of that ever happens because, you know, that would be reasonable. It instead cuts to Chicken Little sitting on a stump alone looking like a broken mess. Not sad, not depressed, broken. Something that no child or any person should feel like. Again, just leave town. What makes it even more ridiculous is that his friends are still preaching to him that he should talk to his dad to fix the issue.
If there was ever a time to talk to your dad, it's now.
Oh my god. Is that really what the solution was?
Kid, just leave town and don't look back. Please. But instead, Chicken Little is convinced to stay when he finds the alien kid from earlier. It turns out he was left behind by his parents. But before they have a chance to even connect with the alien invasion begins to commence.
Quick, get in the car. We gotta go.
No, wait, Dad, I gotta tell you something.
What? I know. You were right. Alien invasion. I see that now. Look up. There it is.
Jesus, even when his son actually proves him wrong, he still won't listen to him. Which officially proves that the whole talking to your dad to fix the problem bullshit wouldn't work. And in response to that, Chicken Little finally tells him off and runs off to the alien kid.
We have to help him, Dad, because if we don't, who else will?
What?
Forget it. You know, you wouldn't believe me anyway.
That was long overdue. That should have happened 10 minutes into the goddamn movie. So the alien invasion continues, as shown in two of the exact same shots they decide to repeat for some reason, which shows everyone getting zapped and the alien kid almost getting ran over by a car. But Chicken Little manages to save him and launching them both into a movie theater that has a blank screen and an empty audience, which I guess is a metaphor for something, as in the movie offers nothing valuable and has no positive impact on the audience because the screen is blank? I don't know. So Chicken Little finally opens up to talking to his dad, even though, again, the dad should be talking to him because that's what a father would do, but whatever. And says what we're all thinking and exposes this awful man as the horrible father that he is.
You're never there for me. You were there when I won the big game, but not when I thought the sky fell. And not at the ball field, and certainly not now. You've been ashamed of me ever since the acorn thing happened, and we have to talk about it because modern knowledge says avoiding closure can lead to molting. And I'm already small, and on top of that, I don't think I can handle being bald.
Enough said.
Never meant to.
No, shut up, fuck cluck. You have no room to speak here. You have had plenty of opportunities to talk to your son and have his back, but you took none of those opportunities. You instead cower in the pressure of the shitty townspeople, all just to protect your dumb reputation as the town's baseball star. Who gives a shit about that? Stop being a bitch and just be there for your son. You shitty excuse for a father, you sack of chicken shit. So of course the movie gives the father some form of redemption that he doesn't deserve in the slightest, and him and Chicken Little hug it out, just in time for them to get the alien kid back to his parents. So they eventually find the ship where the alien kid's parents are. Why do they run so damn slow? Only just to get zapped into the alien ship.
Why did you take our child?
You were the one that left him behind. That's bad parenting. And I should know.
Shut the fuck up. Let me die in peace.
So they give the son back to the alien parents, and then they clarify that the whole invasion was a big misunderstanding. And put everything back to the way it was.
Hey, I'm a dad. You know how it is with your kids. When they need you, you do whatever it takes.
You know what's funny when he says that after almost leaving his son twice in the exact same scene? I'm starting to think the theme for this movie is neglect. Not just neglectful parenting, but also just the word neglect in general. Neglect for people's feelings, neglecting interest, and neglect to all basic logic in general is just... What the hell is this movie? So the aliens take off and it cuts to our main characters watching the movie based on the current incident. And when that movie ends, the movie we're watching finally ends. Fuck this. So while Disney's laughing all the way to the bank with this film, the rest of us are sitting here in misery. Because this is a miserable film to sit through. The characters are incredibly unlikable, aside from Chicken Little, I guess, but only because he's a victim of a horrible toxic environment. Toxicity from his friends, his peers, and even his own father. And it pains me to see a child character go through so much torment just to get his father's attention or try to earn his love towards him. And it's just painful to see him fall so short simply because his father doesn't give two shits about what he has to say to him. And that takes center stage of the story, and it's really painful to watch it all just crumbling down, only for it to finally redeem itself when it's far too late for me to even give a shit about any form of redemption that the father doesn't even deserve. Not to mention, the story and the writing is way too boring and unfunny that it's just cringy. The animation, while it looks okay, is a little dated in comparison to the ones that come after this film, and look much better in comparison. On top of that, it leaves us with an awful message to kids, and even to adults. By all means, keep this shit away from your kids. Just stay away from the film in general. It's not worth your time by any means. And that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching it all the way through, and I'll see you guys in the next one. But don't expect to wait too long, because I'm only doing this part-time.